Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to be talking about the New York Fashion Week Runway Spring Summer 2026. Yes, I know the Runway show was concluded last month, but I just want to highlight a few of the brands that I was able to notice. So the first collection I'll be talking about is the Jason Wu's Spring and Summer 26 ready to wear runway collection in New York. For this collection, I believe Jason made a very strong statement with textures, layers. The collection was very intellectually grounded. I was really impressed. Very upcycle, very deconstructed in a way, but yet it's not aloof, if you get what I mean. It shows that this designer, Jason, is very comfortable with his craft, but he's willing to lean into his artistic skills. Like, I feel it's a partnership between fashion and art. If you love the concept of wearing art, like you want to be a literal artwork walking, this collection is the one for you. I personally feel that this collection was very interesting. It was very refined. Like, it really puts New York fashion industry on the right foot forward. I love the balance of novelty versus the brand signature. Wu established his identity through the evening wear, the elegance that the fashion portrayed. He's pushing, that Jason is really pushing into newer territory with the collage, the deconstruction, the upscaling. He maintained the DNA of the brand. He didn't really go pivot away from it, but he really matched up his designer's concept, but artistically, if you get what I mean. The next designer that I want to talk about is Sergio Hudson. Oh my god, I feel I'm wondering a lot of names today, but it's fine. So for his SS26 collection, it's a firmly confident reaffirmation of his brand strength. Sergio Hudson is all about maximalist. It is all about luxury. He's all about making a bold statement. So this collection really reaffirms his aesthetic with a little bit of evolution. He's all about tailoring, glamour, boldness, enriched by cultural references and strong design execution. It feels like Sergio Hudson had just found that sweet spot between heritage and evolution. You can see it by the bold prints and textures of his runway. His show wasn't just about clothes. I think it was about presence. It was about identity and joy. Like when you're watching his shows, these are the feelings that it evokes. It confirms that the brand is not just relevant, but it's resonant. Yes, that's for Sergio Hudson. So the next designer I want to talk about is Area. So I think Area is one of those designers that a lot of people were eager to see ever since the departure of the co-founder Pio Trek. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name very well. So he framed the collection as about having a good time, while honoring Area's heritage of glamour, maximalist, over-the-top treatments, and nightlife-inspired energy. It's all about party with Area. I would just say, for me, the collection showed confidence, flamboyant statements. It honors the label's roots while signaling that under Nicholas, the party spirit remains alive and kicking. Whether every piece lands commercially, whether it does well, is less important at this time than the mood that it evokes. For those of us that are drawn to fashion as spectacle, fun, ornamentation, and attitude, this is precisely the kind of collection that hits the mark. So it's all about glamour, party, sophistication, lifestyle, outgoing, fun. Area is for you. The next designer that I'm going to be talking about is Tory Burch. Well, I will describe for the design and silhouettes. I think Tory returned to the core American sportswear, but reimagined it through a sculptural feminine lens, if that makes sense. We saw drop waist dresses, low riding trousers or hips long trousers and midi skirts paired with logline blazers, balancing ease with structure. Everything was precise, but it wasn't stiff. I don't know how he was able to manage that. Textures played a major role. Delicate seed beading, monogram embroidery, and intentionally frayed edges. it added warmth and personality. So there's the color palette shifted beautifully from moody neutrals like browns, blues, and grays, and then burst into vibrant pink and lemon yellow. The materials ranged from washed silk and chiffon to distressed leather, creating a very good balance between polish and comfort. It's refined luxury without pretension. So this, I think, the minimalist would love. It's a very why some designers chased either hyper minimalism or full-on spectacle. Tory Burch stayed very centered. So every piece feels really wearable yet distinct, rooted in the brand's DNA but elevated through thoughtful craftsmanship. So it's fashion that empowers rather than overwhelms. Up next, we have Ulla Johnson. Oh, this was one of my absolute favorites. Ulla Johnson. It was all about pretty, feminine, upscale art. If you love the concepts of wearing art, wearable art, textures, prints, colors. Oh my gosh, the material, everything is screamed luxury, but somehow it's managed to be understated. It wasn't like in your face. It wasn't like the loudest in the room, but it was strong, feminine, without the sharp shoulders or structured tailoring. This was very fluid, in my own opinion. I love the integration of art and fashion, the strength behind this, the material and finishing quality appeared very strong. The collection was very refined and emotionally resonant body of work. It leverages an art collaboration to push the aesthetics of color, fabric, and movement while remaining anchored in the signature Ulla Johnson world of femininity, crafts, and luxury. Like I said, it may not shout loudly in the loudest sector of fashion, like it may not be the loudest like the area, the Sergio Hudson, but it whispers elegantly and meaningfully. For a woman who wants style with a story and substance beneath the surface, Ulla Johnson is for you. Different textures, we saw the silk fabric, we saw it was as if it was inspired by art pieces. Like I could almost feel that there were brush strokes of colors, like vibrant colors, color matchups that you couldn't even have imagined. The fluidity, the way it was flowing on the runway, it looked like really heavenly. You can tell that I really love that collection. Yeah. The next designer I'll be talking about is Klein. Well, under the creative direction of Veronica Leone. I think Leone's mission was to modernize the brand's minimal aesthetics. Like it wants to modernize it while retaining its American sensibility and sense of freedom, originally rooted in the label's archive. For me, the brand featured a lot of textures. You can see the fringes. You can see some accessories like the headscarf. I also noticed a clear narrative emerged around intimacy versus exposure. The aesthetic, when we talk about the silhouette, I felt it had some sleek minimal dresses with thin straps. Almost for me, the first time I saw it, the first thing that came to my mind was, this looked like what a milkmaid would wear, but in a more stylish, sexy manner. Well, they also had some structured tailoring, relaxed outerwear and trench coats, cut like robes. At first I thought it was a robe, but then I felt maybe it's actually a trench coat. So the framing is calm, it's modern, it's somewhat utilitarian, but still elegantly fashion forward. So the materials were they had draped leathers, they had laser cut fabrics, some garments with subtle texture play like the crinkles and creases. The next designer I'm going to be talking about is Khaite, which is one of my absolute favorites. I think their spring and summer 26 is a compelling exercise in nuance and strength. It's not screaming for attention, it's inviting you to look closer, if you get what I mean. The collection combines modern American wardrobe essentials with elevated detailing executed under a strong narrative and context. This collection, I believe, is for a woman who knows what she wants, values subtlety, and appreciates well-crafted luxury. This Khaite season gives her both armor and elegance. Well, the key highlights in their collection were the leather and denim. The show, it opens with a leather blazer spliced up the side, hung at an angle. Dark range denim that is the hem of the denim was rolled up, which I really loved. Even for the skirts, the denim skirts were all rolled up, which was interesting. They also played with structure and softness, dresses with fluttery bodies, asymmetrical draping, high-low hems, and some sharply tailored pieces. Then for the prints and details, we saw some polka dot maxi skirts appear and ribbons, oversized knits, exaggerated sleeves. Then for the palettes, for the color palettes and mood, it was predominantly neutrals. So this is what some minimalists is going to really love. Elevated minimalist. They had deep blacks, grey, dark denim with touches of softer tones and minimal flourishes. So the mood of their runway is less flashy and more refined, aligned with quiet luxury. The next designer that I'm going to be talking about is Off-White. I think their collection is a confident, culturally aware collection that revives youthful energy and New York street heritage within a luxury framework. It's featured I think one of the very notable features was it a two belt like pockets on the very micro shorts and some of their skirts. So that was a very noticeable invention. And it doesn't just lean on nostalgia. I think it reinterprets it via tailoring, material juxtaposition, and setting. So for consumers that are willing to or looking for pieces that merge utility, identity, and elevated design, this may be for you. So I think the risk here lies in over-conceptual pieces and strong trend references. For me, it might not be my kind of aesthetics, but I really understand where the brand is going to. The brand, even on the background of the murals, if you watch the runway at that rooftop and all the murals, is just screaming New York, street style, youth. So it's kind of tailored to that aesthetics, which I think is very good. That this is a niche down. You already know what this collection is all about. So if it's your aesthetics, make no mistake, it's going to fit right in. I'm worried about the trend versus the timeless balance. It's like a heavy streetwear reference. Like I said, the two belt, the varsity, the cargo, they are so on trend. The question is for the off-season wear. Like the question is, how do they age or translate into longer term wardrobe pieces? So that is what, if you're someone that loves to invest in pieces that you can just wear one off, that may not last for a very long or for several different seasons, then this might be for you, because you'll be very right on trend. But if not, you might want to check that. The next designer I'm going to be talking about is the Altuzarra. It was also one of my favorites as well. I think I've mentioned quite a few favorites, but don't blame me. I'm just a fashion girly, a fashion enthusiast. So for Altuzarra, sorry, I'm looking at the images here so that I'll be able to recollect what I want to say about its design. So I think for Altuzarra, it's a thoughtful exploration. For Altuzarra, it's a thoughtful exploration of femininity, perception, and modern elegance. It doesn't abandon beauty, rather it reframes it. It's asking the viewer or the wearer to look twice. The collection it merges tailoring and fluidity, structure and softness. It makes it very appealing to those who want luxury. This collection, I believe, is for a woman who appreciates details, material intelligence, and a bit of the surreal in her wardrobe that this season delivers. For the aesthetics or key highlights and silhouettes, I believe the tailoring and volume, like they had sharp leather sweat jackets with funnel necks and swing backs that provide structure, while the bottoms, the trousers, they explored very well the balloon trousers or exaggerated trouser shapes, which I really loved, and I felt it was very deliberate on their part. Then another aesthetics that I loved was their floral or bed motifs, like 3D floral appliques, the swan bed imagery, for example, a color that echoes bed wings, and feather-like knits. For their materials, they used some silk, some chiffon, leather, fox fur trim, structured satin skirts. And for the palettes or the color mood, they used a refined palette of earthy tones, inky tones, soft pastels, and metallic or even leather accents. The mood is very modern elegance with an edge. Yeah, so that is Altuzarra for me. It's a very cohesive brand identity with evolution. I think it retained its signature luxury Altuzarra, femininity, and the New York attitude. But this isn't as layers of conceptual play that really refreshes the brand, in my opinion. The next designer I want to talk about is Michael Kors, of course. Well, he stayed true to his brand, to his DNA, to his signature. For Michael, the collection is a refined statement of luxurious ease. That's how I'll put it. It blends travel-inspired calm with city sophistication. The collection offers a wardrobe that looks polished yet relaxed. It may not scream maximal, but it whispers confidence with elegance, texture, and thoughtful details. For the fashion girly that is seeking subtle drama and timelessness rather than bold spectacle, this collection is definitely for you. For the silhouettes, I think this collection features relaxed shapes, draped wool crepe dresses, colored trousers, silky kaftans, and tunics. Meanwhile, textured jackets and structured pieces remains but softened. For the fabrics, they had fabrics like silk, soft wool crepe, suede, draping, and movements. They matter a lot more than the rigid structure, I believe. For the palettes, they were the neutrals like really dominate. So this brand will go very well if you have a minimalist aesthetics to your fashion. Shades like espresso brown, ecru, wood tones we're seeing in the collection. It's just like in natural tones. For the accessories, I noticed that he had some really bold, interesting pendants. Like he had some wallets that he used as a necklace, larger leather knotted bags, and some soft clutches. So the detailing elevates but keeps wearability in mind. So imagine you have a wallet has a pendant, but somehow he kind of makes it look wearable. So I find it very interesting. So the next designer that I'm going to talk about is Ralph of Ralph Lauren's. Their collection masterfully balanced modern sensuality with classic tailoring. I think it resonated with a sense of sophistication, it offered a versatile pieces suitable for both everyday wear and special occasions. The collection's emphasis on simplicity and elegance ensures its timeless appeal. I think Ralph Lauren have maintained their signature year in, year out. They are all about the American aesthetics, the minimalists, the classics. That is what their brand is made for. So some people might say it's boring, they don't bring it. For me, I think it's good that you know your clientele and you maintain that your signature. I think that consistency for me is admirable. For the key highlights for me, they had some tailorings with a twist, like structured blazers that are paired with unexpected elements like the capri pants or the balloon trousers. It was really a fresh take for me on classic silhouettes. They also had some fluid evening wear, gowns in silk and satin, draped gracefully. And also some playful accessories like we saw in Michael Kors. They had the oversized straw hats and they had those sculptural silver, like very bold pendant pieces that adds a touch of whimsiness to enhance the collection's romantic undertones, in my opinion. So yeah, I think these are just a few designers that I was able to really study that resonated with me. I'm going to end this video here. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. And please, I beg you to subscribe, like, share this, comment on this post, and tell me what you think. Maybe the next one I will do will be the London Fashion Week. Let me see if I can look for some of the designers that I really loved that I can talk about. So, yes, I'm going to end this video here. Until next time, bye.